The struggles of being on the street was not knowing where I'm going to sleep every night, if I was going to sleep, because if I didn't have a place to sleep, my goal was to get high.
Fear is an ongoing emotion that is experienced during the stages of homelessness.
They're in survival mode. They can't even think about thriving or doing anything or being anything because they're just trying to survive day to day.
At one point you realize that you just, why am I even going to continue to go through all this? It's pointless. Nobody loves me. Everybody gave up on me. I have no one to call.
Some women are obviously putting themselves in very compromising positions, not that they choose to be or want to be in, simply to survive, to stay off the street. I've had women that have literally had to walk all night, you know, and that's why they started meth, was so that they could literally walk all night, so that they didn't have to stop anywhere and be vulnerable.
I found myself with absolutely nowhere to go, and it came to the point where I started experimenting with various drugs. I was eventually coerced into a domestic sex trafficking ring, and then I was kind of hauled off from state to state, being forced to sell my body for drugs.
I was assaulted after I accepted a ride from a stranger one night and did not think I'd get out of the car alive, so it's very scary out there.
The Tacoma Rescue Mission is stepping into creating a shelter and a safe space for homeless and unaccompanied women who are in a dire need for a safe place to come. They're just looking around the community. There weren't options for them to go. There was a lot of options for families and for men, but there really wasn't a safe space for women. So we're really trying to step into that need.
I think it's really important to remember when we're speaking about homelessness is that it's a very complex issue. We tend to think of women that are homeless as simply those that have addiction or other mental health issues perhaps. I know a woman that is homeless because of a car accident she had and being disabled and losing her home. And so homelessness can affect anybody at any time.
I became homeless when I was wrongfully accused of assault by my child's dad and arrested for it and couldn't go home because of a protection order the next day. I was homeless on and off for about 8 years until about 3 years ago. If there was a single women's shelter available back when I needed it, it would have saved a lot of bad things from happening to me. Would have meant me getting my life back together and getting my kids home with me sooner.
So we're creating a women's shelter that'll have 50 beds every night for women to come and stay and be safe. It'll also have an overflow capacity when there's bad weather to go to double that.
I think being able to open up multiple beds every night that are low barrier for women to be able to access is huge. This is going to be a game changer.
You know, the urgency for us and why we're building this and why we're trying to do it so fast is we want this to be open this year because there's so few opportunities for women to come right now to get shelter. We'll also have laundry services, storage, counseling, education assistance, employment assistance, all the services that help someone go from really being stuck and feeling overwhelmed and not knowing what to go to overcoming those barriers to say, how can I move out of homelessness? What's hopeful for the future that I can move into?
What gives me hope is this project, meeting this need, this desperate hole that we've had in this community to tend to the most vulnerable women in our society.